Guy Thai. As promised, I love Thai food. I've been cooking Thai food my whole life. So it's really great to have a book coming out that's about Thai food, because I was, long before I ever cooked Indian food, which is what most of my books have been about, I was cooking Thai food, Mexican food and all that. So it's really, I'm looking forward to showing you how you can make Thai food that tastes just like it does at the best restaurants. And also, I think you might even find that if you put the work in, it'll actually be better than you get at the best restaurants, because there are several different things you can do to, if you want to go for easy, if you want to make it really easy on yourself, you can do that. If you want to go top notch, you can do that as well. And that's the way I wrote the recipes in the book, which is available for pre-order right now, and it will be out on the shelves on the 15th of April. Now, to make a really good Thai curry, you need, just like we have base sauces in curry house style curries, you make a base sauce, and that's what you use as a base for everything. In Thai food, we use different curry pastes. So we have a red curry paste, green curry paste, massaman curry paste, yellow curry paste, different curry pastes that all go into, they're a big building block to making
Hi, someone's saying there's no sound. Maybe it's just Wayne. Can other people say they can hear us or not, or is it just Wayne, a problem his end? Is it just Wayne saying there's no sound? Can someone confirm they've got sound, please? Otherwise we'll have to start again.
Yeah, we'll have to start again, but I did check the mics, they should be working.
I think so. Maybe it's just a problem with Wayne and his setup. I don't think anyone else is saying they haven't got sound. Sound fine. Okay, good.
Okay, great.
You can hear him.
Wayne, turn the volume up. All right. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and make a Thai red curry now. And I want to show you what goes into this, because in order to make, like I say, in order to make a really, really good Thai curry, you need to make your own curry paste. Now, that doesn't mean that if you just want to make something very quickly and use the recipes in my book and you want to maybe purchase a curry paste, you can do that. But I'm going to explain to you what to do if you do that. But for right now, I'm going to show you how I make this. This is a red curry paste. And we're going to be using all this. This is one batch of red curry paste, which we're going to be using tonight in the red curry. Now, what I have over here is I've got a good thumb-sized piece of galangal. Galangal is not ginger. A lot of people think it's the same thing or very close. You can substitute ginger, but that's not what they use in Thailand. And it has kind of more of a piney flavor to it than ginger does. So ginger has more of a spicy hit to it, whereas this is more of a subtle piney flavor. But ginger will taste good. So if you can't get the, I find it very difficult where I live up north to get galangal. So sometimes I will substitute ginger. And I'm going to go ahead and show you how this is done the traditional way, and then also explain what you can do to cheat a bit.
Thank you for everyone for confirming about the sound.
Great.
The
okay.
No issue.
So I've got the galangal in this pestle mortar now, and I don't know if this is going to be too loud or not. Maybe I should cover up my microphone. Then you can't hear me speak. And I'm just going to start smashing this. And the thing is, this is the way it's done traditionally. So you take each of the different ingredients. I got some a couple of long stalks of just the white parts of lemongrass. I'm going to put that in there and just start smashing that as well. And this is how it would be done traditionally in Thai cooking. And the problem with doing it this way, if you think it's a problem, I don't mind it that much, is that it does take a long time. In order to make a paste that looks like that, you're looking at 30 to 40 minutes of pounding, not talking like I'm doing right now, but actually pounding. And all these will break down. And I got a couple of long red chilies. I'm going to put that in there now. So the great thing the thing that you get out of this is, rather than just blending it and all the juices go squirting everywhere, by doing it this way, you're actually pounding the flavors out of the different vegetables and forming the sauce that way. And if you think that that's what they do at the most expensive restaurants, this method, they don't, because that would just take forever. In fact, most of the really good restaurants will make their own paste, but some of them will only have maybe 2 or 3 special, red Thai curry and green Thai curry on the menu at any one time. They'll change them because they just don't know how many people, they want these to be fresh. And so they want to make sure that they make their paste every day quite fresh and ready to go into the curries. And what they'll do is they'll use a blender. And to be very honest with you, I started this out just like we're doing here. So I took, this is another faster method, is to just start pounding. Got some garlic here, about 10 cloves of garlic.
Asking, will any red chilies do?
I use spurred chilies for this because they're not very spicy, but they have a nice flavor. So yes, I mean, any red curries and chilies will do, but you might find that they're too, if you use too many of them, that's too spicy for you. And I'm also using some of these dried bird's eye chilies, which I may as well just go ahead and put in right now. And they have a little bit more of a hit to them. So I got fresh and also dried, which is going to go into this paste. And so the way I made this right here is I did exactly what I'm doing in front of you right now. And there are, if you look at if you're watching this live, you'll see that there are, I have recipes for both the curry, the red curry, and also this paste on my blog. So there's links to that, so you don't have to like take notes or anything like that about what I'm doing. But you just I start out by just kind of grinding these down, getting the juices from all the different ingredients to just kind of get to know each other. And here's some shallots. I got some
While
shallots
you're doing
there.
that, Neil has a question about chilies. How do you get the heat right? He finds the fatter reds can be either like bell peppers or volcanoes.
Yeah. Well, usually, generally speaking, the smaller the chili, the hotter it is. That's generally speaking. So if you got some really small bird's eye chilies, they're probably going to be hotter than the larger ones. And bell peppers, obviously, they're on the 1 scale, whereas you can go right up to 10. And so you just have to kind of test your chilies. I found bird's eye chilies, for example, which is what I use in my Indian food as well as Thai a lot. I found them, depending on where I get them and where they were grown, to be different temperatures. So you just heat temperatures. So you want to just kind of test them out and kind of know what you're working with. Bird's eye chilies, for example, have a really nice flavor in their own right. So if you don't like it really spicy, take all those seeds out and you'll still get the flavor, but without all the heat.
Is the paste making in the new Thai book?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Everything we're doing on these videos is in the Thai book. And obviously, I try to be as accessible as possible. So if you ever have any questions from the Thai book, you just send me an email or whatever, and I'll talk you through it. But hopefully, we spent a lot of time writing that book, so hopefully all the questions are answered in there. And so coming back to this, I've got some coriander stalks. There's a lot of flavor in the stalks, more than in the actual leaves. So as you can see here, I've got quite a lot in my bowl there, which I'm just gonna, if I were doing this correctly, if I were having friends over and I wanted to really make a nice meal, I would pound this for a good 40 minutes or so and make it into a traditional style curry paste. If I'm just making it for my family and I don't really feel like going to all that trouble, I'd pound them for a good 5 minutes and just do this like I'm doing right here. And then I'd put it in a blender and blend it. And the way it would be done at most restaurants would be, they wouldn't pound it all. They would just go, put everything in a blender, buzz it and blend it, and you got yourself a curry paste. So all those work. So you can make this as easy or as difficult on yourself as you like, and the more work you put into it, the better it's going to be. But even just blending all these ingredients and not even pounding them at all is going to get you a better paste than you can purchase. And that's just because you've seen how much goes into this. Here I've got some toasted cumin and coriander seeds that I blended, and a little bit of pepper. Just about a teaspoon of white pepper. That's white pepper, yeah. And just so much goes into this that you can't help but make something that tastes really good, because these they're all aromatic ingredients that just go so well together. But like I said, it's a lot of work if you want to pound the whole thing, but it does work. I've done it lots of times. Got some lime juice here. And one of the ingredients, which is a little bit more difficult to find, but it's very strong, doesn't smell that great either when it's in this form, is shrimp paste. But you can get that at pretty much all Chinese and Thai markets and online. So just use a little bit of that, maybe about a teaspoon. You can always add more if you find that you want a fishier flavor, but it's not really supposed to have a fishy flavor that much. It just kind of gives you a nice subtle flavor of the shrimp.
Someone's asking, can they use a coffee grinder to grind it down?
Yes, everything, all this I'm doing here in this pestle mortar, that's done the traditional way, but you put it in a blender or a spice grinder and you pretty much got the same thing. So I explain that all in the book so that you can then decide how far you want to take things. But the best way is to do exactly what I'm doing right here. Next best way is to pound it for a little while, put it in a blender. Third best way is to put it all in a blender and just do it. And then the fourth best way is to buy yourself some red curry paste. Now, the problem with red curry paste is with all these ingredients that go into this, you're not going to get that in a commercial brand. You might get the really strong flavors that they want you to taste. So you're going to have some chilies in there, definitely. You're going to have lots of salt. Usually there's quite a lot of salt in a commercial paste because that makes it taste good. There's no salt in this. There's a little bit of the shrimp paste, but not very much salt. And you're going to have maybe a little tiny bit of lemongrass, and that's your paste. If you look at the side of the ingredients, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's nothing like this with all the shallots and everything that I put in there. You just can't do any better. But because the commercial brands, they want you to taste a lot like what you'd expect of Thai food. They can be, like I say, quite salty and they can be quite spicy. So if you were to try putting, this is about 7, I measured this out, about 7 tablespoons of paste. If you were to put 7 tablespoons of curry paste into a curry to serve 4 people, it will blow your head off. It'll be way too salty and it will be probably way too spicy for most people's liking. So I wouldn't recommend doing that. If you decide to use a commercial paste rather than your own homemade, use about 2 tablespoons and adjust it to taste. So there's my paste. This is what I'm going to finish up after this. The great thing about red curry paste, and it's one of the reasons why I decided to start with this tonight, is it goes in a lot of recipes. There are a lot of different things you can use red curry paste in. So
does it freeze?
Yeah, I've frozen it before. Yeah, I froze it last year when I was doing when I started first writing the Thai book, and I think it tastes fine. It was all right. Just like everything, the galangal, that freezes well. It discolors. When you put it in the freezer, it discolors, but it tastes fine. So you can, things that are difficult for you to get, like maybe lemongrass.
We find it, we buy it in
yeah, we buy in bulk. We buy in bulk, and then we just freeze it, don't we?
Yeah.
So the same applies to the paste. If you make
someone
paste.
asked on here where we get it locally. There's a Chinese shop in Middlesbrough for any local people.
Yeah, it's by the Lidl there.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure most big town centres have a Chinese food supply shop and they've got everything there.
So if we go over here to the pan, Caroline, if you want to take that over there, I'm going to show you, once you've got your paste done, just how easy it is to whip up this curry. And it's really worth making your own paste, believe me. You will be so impressed with what you can cook with that paste. I'm using rapeseed oil here, so canola oil for those that are in the US and other places. But you could also use coconut oil in this. That would be fine too. And I'm going to start by taking all this curry paste, which I made, about 7 or 8 tablespoons of this stuff. And I'm just going to fry it off for about 30 seconds. We'll get that and just kind of give it a nice stir. And a lot of people think that because it's red, so Thai red curry, that it's the hottest curry that you can get. And the truth is, red curry, although it is spicy usually, it is not the hottest. The green curry is the hottest because you use fresh green bird's eye chilies and they can really be quite spicy. I'm making that next week for you, and I'm going to give you a little bit of advice then about making sure that it's right, you get the flavors right. So here I've got about 250 grams of chicken.
Someone's already asked as well, would you definitely use raw chicken and not cooked chicken?
I would use raw chicken because it cooks very quickly in the sauce.
It's cut up quite small, isn't it?
Yeah, it's cut up quite small. You see the pieces there. That's quite small. I've made this same recipe with thigh meat on the bone, which gave it a nice flavor. But usually when you go out to a Thai restaurant, you're going to get small chunks of chicken. And I just want to kind of brown that chicken in that paste right now. And I'm only going to really cook the chicken for about a couple minutes or so. Just kind of stirring as I go so that nothing burns. There really isn't much to burn because it's all fresh ingredients, except for the cumin and coriander, which is all mixed in anyway. We got those shallots, we got the lemongrass, everything all just the chilies. So you're not going to burn anything really. You don't have to worry about that. Now, I'm going to go ahead and add. This is some fresh Thai stock. You could just use chicken stock. I used or any Oriental style stock, but just a regular chicken stock will do. I'm just going to put that much in now, which is probably about 250 milliliters, roughly. And that's going to help the meat cook. And then to that, I'm going to start adding some coconut milk as well. Nice thick coconut milk. I'm adding about 400 milliliters of that, so I'm going to need a little bit more of that, but I don't want to add it all right now. I could do, but I just kind of want to show you guys what's happening here.
And Lorraine's asking, is the recipe for 4 people? It is, isn't it?
This is for 4 people, and we made it last week, and it all went with 4 people, didn't it? Yeah. So I think we got the quantity, the amounts right. I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of that now. That's about 400 grams of or milliliters, whatever they call it. It's in a tin thick coconut milk. Now, the most important thing about cooking Thai food, or pretty much any food for that matter, I don't care if it's Italian or Indian or Thai or whatever, the most important thing is to taste. But that is very much the case with Thai food, because you are trying to get we'll go ahead and go over to, I'm going to let that simmer for a bit. We'll go over to the other camera. But you really need to try and get a really nice combination of sweet, sour, savory, and spicy. And my recipes, as always, have been for my taste, because obviously I want to make sure that they taste good for me, so that hopefully you'll like them too. But have yourself a couple spoons nearby when you're cooking it, and if it's not sweet enough, add some more sugar. I'm going to be adding some sugar to this sauce very soon. If it's not spicy enough, add a little bit more paste. A little bit more.
Can you use low-fat coconut milk?
Yes, you can. Yes, it just won't be as thick, but you can definitely add low-fat coconut milk. But all these can be adjusted. If it's not sour enough for you, add some lime juice or whatever, because they're just, like I say, just add whatever you need to get that blend right, and use the ingredients as listed, but maybe use a little bit more of others. Hopefully I got it right for you, and you'll be happy with the flavors without having to adjust it. You just by changing different brands of coconut milk or something like that, you might find that you need to do a little bit just to adjust it for your own personal taste. Okay, so to this, let's go over to this pan again. I've got some palm sugar. This is just for sweetness, and you could get just regular sugar. You use some sugar or some honey, something like that, but I like to use the palm sugar, which is the more authentic to what they use over there and here.
Mark's saying, is it good with king prawns or meaty fish like monkfish?
It'd be good with anything like that. So although I'm using chicken in this, you could use prawns, you could use monkfish, you could use halibut, you could whatever you like. Just like when you go out to a restaurant and they'll say red Thai curry, and they'll give you a few things that you might want to have in it. I got about a tablespoon of just light soy sauce there, and 3 tablespoons of fish sauce. And the fish sauce, we're not going to be adding any salt to this curry because it's the fish sauce that gives it its savory flavor. That and the soy sauce. So that's one way you can adjust it. If you want to have a little bit of a saltier flavor, add a little bit more. Or if you're worried that it's going to be too salty for you, having 3 tablespoons of fish sauce and 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, then by all means reduce it down. Don't add a little tiny bit at a time and decide for yourself if it needs more. The more you taste and adjust, the better you're going to get at it. And yeah, the recipes will become your own rather than just using my recipe. Go ahead and use the best that's for you. Now I'm going to add loads of vegetables to this. So I got some green beans in there, snap peas, some asparagus, and I don't really want this to cook too long because I do like a little bit of a bite to my vegetables, but it's just going to add some really nice color to this as well. And I would normally add the fish sauce at the end. Now I did it this time right away, but you'll want to have some fish sauce nearby when you're cooking, so you can add a little bit more if you want to have it saltier. Because by cooking the fish sauce, it does tend to weaken the flavor a little bit. And do we have some lime juice here, Caroline?
And there was some in the glass, yeah, in that glass. I think you put it in already.
Did I? No, I don't think so. Oh, I think I know I did. One. Yeah. A little bit left. You're gonna want some lime juice in that too, just to give it a sour flavor. That's looking so nice. It's smelling really good too. And see, the chicken will be cooked now. It's been cooking there for about 5 minutes. It's gonna be cooked. The only thing we're doing right now is making sure that the vegetables aren't raw. I like them a bit al dente. We don't want them to be mushy. We want them to look really good when you get them on your plate. And then, so you'll see this too. It's not as red as you might see sometimes with red curries, and that's because we're using all fresh ingredients. But one thing you can do to make it a little bit redder is this. This is another recipe from my book, which is roasted chili oil. And it's made with garlic and roasted chilies. And so you see all the stuff that goes into it there. You just add that to it as well. And that's going to give it a really nice flavor and also a presentation. You could just add that to taste. It's optional in the book. But as it cooks, it kind of floats to the top there. Well worth doing. And that's about done now. Carolyn, do you have some rice?
Yep, here's the rice.
So I'm just going to take some of this. Hey, we're going to have a nice dinner tonight, Caroline. It smells so nice right now. And usually Thai curries are a little bit runnier than Indian curries. I'm going to put a little bit more of that chili oil on there.
There's coriander there too.
Yeah, put some coriander on there, definitely. There we are. That is going to be a really nice dinner. Oops, I almost spilt your dinner, Caroline.
No,
I had my plate. There we are. Thai red curry. All right. So are we on this camera now?
Yes, you're on that
Great.
camera.
So there you have it. Thai red curry in minutes. I mean, really, it is that easy. And if I had just decided to blend these ingredients like I did before, that takes about 2 minutes. So you can make a Thai red curry that tastes amazing with all fresh ingredients in about 10 to 15 minutes. That's all it takes. and you've got that. And it's just, I'm really starving now.
A lot of people are asking to give them a list of ingredients that kind of the staples for the Thai.
Yeah, I included that in my book, and I probably should put that on my in my Facebook group. So I will do that as well. But it's things. Obviously, I mean, I'm not going to state the obvious because obviously fresh vegetables go into Thai food and chicken goes into Thai food. But you're going to be needing some coconut milk. You're going to be needing for the paste. I mean, the stuff that we put into this paste right here.
That's pretty basic.
That's the basic ingredients right
yeah.
there. You're going to need some soy sauce. You're going to need some fish. Well, fish sauce didn't go in there, but you're going to need some soy sauce, some fish sauce, galangal if you can get it. If you can't, then go ahead and substitute ginger. You're going to need some garlic, fresh garlic, coriander and coriander stalks, and shallots. And that's about.
And some of them have oyster sauce in
Yeah,
too.
some of them have oyster sauce. So there's quite. What I recommend doing is when you get the book and you just pick about 2 or 3 recipes that you know you want to try, and then just jot down the ingredients. And usually you're going to find that there's pretty much the same ingredients in all of them, give or take 1 or 2. And just make sure you have all. When you go out and do your shop or you do your shop online, make sure you order everything you need for those 3 or 4 curries that you want to make. And that will last you probably for most of the recipes in the book, because it's not there aren't a lot of different things that you can't just find up at your local supermarket. A lot of stuff, even fish sauce and soy sauce, that's all stuff you can find at a supermarket now. And the only thing I find I have difficult finding fresh is lemongrass and galangal, but even that is available a lot of times at the larger supermarkets.
Morrison's is quite good for it.
Yeah,
Sainsbury's have it.
Yeah. So. You'll find everything you need. It's not going to be a difficult search for stuff, and you're going to be able to make that in minutes.
And someone's asking, apart from jasmine rice, what else could you have with it?
Well, sticky rice is also another. Sticky rice is more of a northern Thai thing, whereas jasmine rice is more of a southern Thai thing. But if you go out to a restaurant, most people over here don't know that. So if you like sticky rice and you're eating it with a southern dish, that's okay, and vice versa. So I love sticky rice myself. I love jasmine rice. And rice is eaten pretty much with every meal over in Thailand. So it's you're going to need to choose your rice. But it's really up to you.
There's not really any bread, is there?
There are in some parts, yeah, but there's not. It's not a big thing. No. It's not a big thing. So it's more rice dishes that things are served with rice. So yeah, that's about it for today. Tomorrow I'm going to be making a tom yum gai soup, and that is a sweet, sour and hot soup, which is very, very popular at Thai restaurants. There's no coconut milk in it, so it's kind of a clear red soup. Very, very good. You can eat it as a meal. You know, you get yourself get yourself a nice plate of rice, and you can call it a curry almost, because it's a little bit thinner than that, but very good with some rice. And so we'll be making that tomorrow night. Next week we're going to be right back here doing it again. We're going to be doing green curry on Tuesday night next week, and we're going to be doing tom kha gai, which is a really creamy, coconutty soup as well, which we'll be doing that next Wednesday. So thank you very much for watching, and like I said, if you have any questions or anything like that, I will be looking at both Facebook and YouTube and Twitter after this. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. And I hope you have a chance to try this. I did leave the links to the recipes, so click on those and give it a try. I think you'll love it. It's about as authentic as it gets, and it's really worth having a go. So thank you very much.